Mr. Chairman, thank you very much, and want to thank all the panelists for being here today to discuss the importance of investing in domestic wind energy. I look forward to hearing from the panel throughout the rest of the committee to just talk about how we can provide more safer, more sustainable, and more reliable energy to Texas and the nation. As I think everybody already knows here, that Texas is one of the dominant players in wind energy. I don't think that there's any secret about that. As a matter of fact, Texas dominates the wind energy to such an extent that if we were a country to our own, we literally would rank number 5 in total wind generation in the world. Mr. Hardy, I understand there is a potential in the longer term for offshore wind to be developed in the Gulf, but in the more immediate term, can you expound on what Texans have to gain from supporting offshore wind development in the U.S.?
Yes, thank you, Congressman. Appreciate your question. First off, I would highlight that Ørsted builds onshore wind farms in Texas, so we're one of the participants in the Texas onshore wind and solar industry. With respect to offshore wind in Texas, you're also correct that there are now studies being done about offshore wind being built in the Gulf and potentially supplying power to not only Texas, but Louisiana, Mississippi, and other Gulf states. Likewise, today, there are significant supply chain activities happening in Texas, not least some of the things we talked about earlier. The Kiewit offshore substation is being built near Corpus Christi. There are the Dominion vessel, the Jones Act compliant turbine installation vessels being built down in Brownsville. These are large job creating projects that are supporting our offshore wind industry today, and the oil and gas sector is a natural place for engineering and construction to be transitioned into the offshore wind industry, and of course Texas has a long history in Houston and elsewhere in supporting that industry.
So how many jobs are we talking about? Can you expand on that a little bit? What sort of job creation numbers will we be looking at?
Just the vessel alone is over 1,000 jobs for a multi-year period. The Kiewit offshore substation is similar types of numbers, hundreds of jobs for a multi-year period. The construction yard is actually down in Brownsville, outside of Corpus Christi, but there'll be other jobs related to that, engineering procurement jobs in other states as well.
Oh, good to know. Mr. Strong, in your testimony, you emphasize the importance of providing workforce training to develop new talent in the wind industry. How can we ensure that quality, good-paying jobs created by wind are dispersed across states? And furthermore, how might this revitalize post-industrial communities?
Well, thank you, Congressman. I sit on the Maryland Manufacturing Advisory Board, and I represent organized labor. I was appointed by the governor in that capacity. We, in Maryland, what we've noticed in the manufacturing sector, every company that participates has a demand for a skilled workforce. There is a shortage of skilled workforce in many trades, welders, machinists, millwrights, and so forth. So it's a problem in Maryland that we're constantly talking about. And, eventually I think that we got to get all the stakeholders together, the federal government, the state government, come up with ideas and plans. I went to a vocational school when I was young, but you don't see them anymore. But it's a problem. And in my conversations with U.S. Wind, we know that this is a challenge for us to find the type of skills that we're going to need to work at this facility. We're working on it. We're talking to the state about worker development and so forth. But this is a problem in all manufacturing sectors.
Yeah, no, absolutely it is. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman, thanks. And next to the gentleman, he yields back. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Ohio,